This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Les, how you doing?
Very good, Fred. And yourself?
Not bad, not bad. I'm anxious to get to a lot of good stories. And in this hour, we're not only going to bring you new stories, but we're also going to take a look back at 2024 and some of the big automotive things that happened. There was a lot of them, wasn't it?
I think the word roller coaster.
Yeah, roller coaster is a good way of putting it. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to take a look at the Wagoneer S, the first fully electric vehicle from Jeep. They've got a new campaign out saying it's okay to be pretty and get dirty. We'll talk about that because, of course, I would take that electric vehicle out and just drive it through sludge or the sand, wouldn't you?
I would. Well, I'm not going to take it to the Rockies. But I would take it off. I'd drive through a little bit of mud. It wouldn't bother me.
All right. Well, you've got some 2024 stories, right?
We do. We have failed companies. We have relaunched brands. We have mergers. We have hybrids rediscovered by the public. And CEOs quitting. CEOs getting hired. And then there was Jaguar. Yeah, we'll talk about all of those. And interesting, you're talking about mergers. There's a memorandum of understanding right now between Nissan and Honda. And Carlos Ghosn, the former head of Nissan, was shipped out of Japan in a music case, says that it's going to really be heavy cuts at Nissan because Honda is in the driver's seat. We'll talk a little bit about that and what's going on there, but, interesting times. I think the other big story were brands going away or potentially going away. We had Fisker going away. Just a lot going on, and we'll get to all of those, won't we? That's right. The industry is kind of in flux at the moment.
Yes.
But it's still, that said, it's going to do a little less than 16 million new vehicle sales this year.
That's true.
In this country. That's kind of back to the old days.
Yes. And then we're going to have a story about one of the worst names in Toyota's history, the BZ4X. Is it getting a new name? Well, what will it be? Well, we'll talk about that and more
I don't care
when we come back on Cruise Control.
Can't be as bad.
Can't be as bad as that. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
So, Les, do you think beautiful things can still get dirty? That's the new campaign at Jeep.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful. You're allowed, if you're beautiful, you're allowed to get dirty. just like us semi-beautiful people. It's catchy.
Yeah.
And it's not promising that it's going to run the Baja.
No, but it will be interesting how it's received. Of course, this was a product well underway before people decided, hey, I really like hybrids. But we'll see how it does. Right. And we'll be right back with more Cruise Control after this.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine. We got a great piece of machinery here to talk about. The all-new Jeep Wagoneer, actually S, the Jeep Wagoneer S.
Yes.
And of course, it is a battery electric Wagoneer.
Yes.
Been promised for quite a while. It's now on the road.
Yeah, 600 horsepower, 617 pound-feet of torque.
Serious power.
0 to 60, 3.4.
3.4. This is incredible. This truly is the age of muscle cars.
Yes.
But the muscle everything. And the thing is, this was already underway by Stellantis before they and everyone else realized that hybrids were beginning to be noticed by the public. But the fact is, it's a heck of a thing, first of all, to look at. I think it's rather handsome.
Yes.
Secondly, it's powerful. And of course, it's electric, so it's going to be less expensive than a gas engine. And
to run, not to buy.
To run, not to buy. Yes. Now, and also, okay, let's get through the catch line again. Things can be pretty and still get dirty.
Yeah, that is the new catch line for this.
That's good.
You know,
it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea is, hey, it's a Jeep, and it can still get dirty, and it can still be part of the Jeep life. That's what I think this new campaign is saying.
Exactly. They're saying, don't baby it. You don't have to.
Beautiful things can still get dirty.
Beautiful things can still get dirty. Oh, look at me. And
oh, God.
That's right. So, okay. So it's got all kinds of technology in it. It has select terrain traction management, as you would expect of a Jeep.
It's trail rated then.
There's certain base things you expect of a Jeep. It's got a 7-slot illuminated grille, which I think is fascinating. 20-inch wheels, dual pane panoramic sunroof, the beautiful dash. Where I'm looking at a shot of the interior right now. That's 45 inches of usable screen space. Is that a new record?
Probably. That is a tremendous amount of viewable area for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit. And a 19-speaker, 1,200-watt Macintosh audio system. It's a bit much.
They have, in the center, they have the old-style meters that they mimic analog meters, which is kind of cool for that.
Oh, that's cool.
For audio levels.
That's cool. And it's really, I think, again, the picture we're looking at has a really lovely red interior.
Yeah.
Nice shape outside. I honestly can't fault it design-wise.
I don't think we have pricing on it yet, but I would say this is...
We do.
Which actually is not as bad as I thought now, looking at this.
It isn't as bad as I thought either. The launch edition has an MSRP of $71,995, $72,000.
I would have thought it would easily be over 100.
I thought so too. I thought a good 90. And so really, it's not so bad.
I mean, it just blows my. That's one of our stories of 2024. The average retail price of a vehicle is $54,000, right?
Yeah, this is honestly, we're reaching. Maybe we've reached the point where this is not sustainable.
When you say 71,000, hey, that's not bad. Hey, that's
but it's not, because we're so accustomed to seeing these big prices, which That scares me away, but it obviously people put it into their budgets.
Yeah, they must, or they just pay leases and they just lease it and that's it.
I think we need to research what the average leasing rate or the number of vehicles percentage being leased versus bought. It's got to be real high.
I would say the average lease is somewhere around $750 a month, maybe more.
I would think so.
Maybe more. But hey, if you know, share it in the comments because we'd like to hear from you as we always do on Cruise Control. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Les,
Yes,
you have an answer on that leasing question, don't you?
I do, and it's actually a smaller number than I thought. 2024, the statistics say that 24.7%, 25% of all new vehicle sales are leased.
Okay.
I would have thought more.
I would say where I am, they are more leased. There are more people. Almost everyone leases because they want to get the newest thing all the time.
I would,
and they don't do any work. They don't even
exactly.
put, the dealer puts air in the tires, everything else. They don't do anything.
Yes. Around here, in fashionable, inside the Beltway, very, very close to DC, like all of 4 miles, I would agree. I think the typical vehicle is leased. Because the typical homeowner in this area doesn't own a screwdriver.
That's right. Which end would I use?
Yeah, so that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but it is just factored in, and then. But when it comes to electric vehicles, that's probably a good play to lease it because there's going to be a lot of updates and changes and improvements, so.
And it's a nice looking vehicle. I don't know how big it is.
Well, if it's the size of a Wagoneer, it's pretty big.
Well,
Wagoneer's like driving a house around. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It is, but I hope it's not that large. That's too big.
What do you think about it? The Wagoneer S, and of course, there's supposed to be a Jeep Recon electric vehicle. Of course, it's another project started under Carlos Tavares. Will these things see the light of day? I don't know. We'll have to see. What? Let us know in the comments your favorite 2024 automotive stories, because we're going to jump into that when we come back on Cruise Control in just about 30 seconds. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are now going to run down the ups and downs of 2024
yes.
in the automotive industry. And there has been a whole lot of both.
Yeah. I'll start off with this. I've never seen anything like this in the automotive industry. At the beginning of 2024, everyone was like, it's all electric. We're going electric. Certain manufacturers are saying 2026 will be all electric. Others in 2030 will be all electric. 2035, gas-powered car bans coming your way. That's all kind of gone away. And one by one, the manufacturers are like, hold up. We think we can just build gas cars for a long time. Ford's saying we're going to build V8 Mustangs forever if we can, And then some manufacturers were like Kia and Hyundai were able to pivot immediately and say, hey, we're going to bring out 7 new hybrid models, while others like GM were like, well, yeah, hybrids are important, maybe 2027 or something like that. By that time, people will want electric cars. So,
and meanwhile, they've put out electric cars that people generally are not buying very many of.
Yeah.
Although the Cadillac Lyriq claims to be the biggest selling electric luxury car.
Interesting. So,
I'm not sure I believe it, but
have you
that's
ever
what they say.
seen a change up so quickly? I mean, it
No,
really. There were people talking about it. We're not ready for electrics. There's no infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But all of a sudden, there was like a tsunami of like a conga line of manufacturers saying, "Nope, we're not going to do it. We're gonna hold off." Yeah, that was too aggressive.
it sort of took one CEO to say, you know what, we have to rethink this, and all of a sudden, everybody else said, we've been thinking the same thing. And all it took was one powerful person to say, let's not concentrate so much on electrics. And certainly no one's even talking about autonomous vehicles.
No, we've
Uh,
seen that's another story. We've seen Cruise shut down. We've seen other
yep,
things. Uh, Autonomous vehicles will be basically lane keeping, and it will stay in the lane for the
right.
most part, and that will become
Automatic
common.
braking.
Yeah, common. That will become common, if
And
not
yes,
required.
that's right. And so there has been that. There have been, now we're looking at several companies that are in big financial trouble. The worst, I would say, is Nissan.
Yes.
And I mean, in
Yeah, and
big, big trouble.
what happened to Nissan? I mean, they're bringing out some nice things. They're bringing out
They are.
their new version of the Kicks. They brought out the Murano. They've done a lot of things. They have a relatively new Frontier. The sales tanked, and now, of course, one of the big stories: mergers, and we
Right.
have more information on that this week. That there's a memorandum of understanding that Nissan, Honda, and Mitsubishi are going to be merging, and for we don't know the details of this, but it seems like they'll become subsidiaries of Honda. Um,
It would appear that, but it also appears that they're every bit willing to do this. It's not like a takeover.
yeah, no, it's not.
So,
It's not forced. I mean, Nissan's like they don't see any way out. Their former head, Carlos Ghosn, warns of carnage at Nissan if this merger goes through, and he said basically Honda's in the driver's seat. So does Nissan become like another version of Coca-Cola, basically, where you have the cherry Coke, you have the decaffeinated Coke, you have the sugar-free Coke. They basically can expand out, and their product, they'll use the same platforms for different products, and they make more money, basically, don't you think?
well, I think so. And to me, it seems somewhat similar to back in the late 90s when Ford bought Jaguar.
Interesting. Yeah,
And they came in and said, we're going to let you do what you do best, but we're going to be your engineers.
that's interesting.
And that's how I'm not saying I know this about their meetings, but that's how I'm looking at this. I think Honda will will allow Nissan to be Nissan. They'll probably dictate what types of models they're willing to finance and what types of models they don't think will sell well. But I think it's going to be one of those things where they're going to say, "Look, we're the guys that know how to engineer the cars and make money."
Mm-hmm.
And Mitsubishi, same thing. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is a fantastic company.
Actually, since they teamed up with Nissan, they've been doing well. They've gotten
Very
some
well.
new
Yeah.
product. They've gotten some great reviews for their Outlander plug-in hybrid. So they're kind of along for the ride because they are aligned with Nissan, and Nissan is in trouble.
And, as far as Ghosn, Carlos Ghosn saying there'll be carnage if they all join together. Well, there would have been
Carnage.
more carnage if if if
Well, they'll go out of
Nissan
business.
was allowed to just go under.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that their only way out is to merge. Now, it's not bad, as you say, because Honda's coming out with a whole bunch of gasoline-powered new engines. Nissan
Yep.
doesn't have to do that now. They don't have to worry about that. It could be great if they kind of spread out the workload. But the problem is dynamics. Is Honda going to say, "Okay, Nissan, you do the design work, and we'll do the engineering work"? It's definitely not a merger of equals.
But
Like,
the advantage that we have here, though, I'm really excited about this because I think it's going to work. But the advantage is that it's unicultural. They're all Japanese companies.
right.
It's not Ford British. It's not oh boy, Mercedes
The
and
merger
Chrysler.
of two equals that didn't understand each other at
Wow.
all. Some decent
Um,
things
y-
came out of it. The
yeah, the
Well, but-
Crossfire.
Crossfire was pretty cool.
But oh boy. But anyway, that's one story.
Dr.
And
Z, remember Dr. Z? The guy that
Dr. Z, yes. Oh wow.
uh,
And also, well, Ford had owned part of Mazda. Um, that actually goes back a couple years.
yeah.
But it's just phenomenal what's going on in the industry. And there are so many partnerships too. Ford and or Toyota and BMW, Subaru and Toyota.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, and I think it's needed because there's so many things going on. You have to build for the future, potentially all electric, maybe synthetic fuels, hydrogen, who knows what, and all the safety. Plus,
Yep.
you have to build hybrids right now. Look at Nissan. They're just getting hybrids, right? They have
No,
the Rogue
it's
hybrid in the
yeah.
works. Boom, you could get hybrids from Honda. You could go all hybrid. I would go, if I was
Exactly.
Nissan, I'd go all hybrid. What about that?
I think I would too, with maybe the possible exception. Well, no, the Rogue and the Prelude or the Murano would work fine.
Yeah.
The Z maybe not.
Z, maybe not. But maybe Honda's looking for yet another performance car besides the Prelude that they're bringing back. So
Yeah.
maybe the Z could be a great background, for that, a great starting point for that. Who knows? I hope it ends up meaning that we have more innovation and more interesting products. I don't think it will be like rebadging time at GM where they just
No.
did another
I
peel
don't
and
think
stick
so.
grill and said,
And
yeah, that's an Oldsmobile.
and we're watching, we're watching the musical chairs with the CEOs that have been left, gone and showing up elsewhere. And
Well,
some
look
that
at
haven't.
Stellantis. That we talked about that earlier. Carlos Tavares just didn't understand the brand,
Nah.
and he basically quit when people basically said, "We're not. This is terrible." He got rid of the Hemi. He did a bunch of other things. He just didn't understand the culture, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. But hey, he is gone, and that's just another story. Automotive story of 2024. When we come back, we'll have a few more of them. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back. Les, interesting. I think that the all hybrid idea for Nissan would be a good one. They've got some
Yep.
good products. They've got Frontier, they got Rogue, they got Pathfinder, they have this new Kicks. Who doesn't want to have a compact all-wheel drive crossover these days, right?
Exactly. And I think all they really need is an infusion of money and technology. and a little bit of time, not much time, because you need to be able to be fast on your feet
Yeah.
in this business.
Yeah.
And they're not. They haven't been. I think largely because they just didn't have the kind of flexibility economically. But I think, again, I'm really excited about this merger.
Here we go.
It's just
Cruise control.
And welcome back. Welcome back. We're still talking about what has gone on in 2024 in the industry, and so much of it that we're going to continue for a little bit.
Yeah, we are. So brands going away.
Yeah.
It was round 2 for Fisker. Basically, they say that was just run poorly, and they closed up shop, and clay models were left behind, and then, the Fisker Ocean was a kind of a nice vehicle. People bought it, and then they had trouble, like the doors didn't open and things like that, and
yeah, that's a big problem.
Then they realized it was going away, and there was concern about, well, who will take care of us? Who will, they could brick these vehicles, basically. They're electric vehicles. The servers have to be kept up. There looks like there's some hope for that. The company bought that, and they're going to maintain, but sad to see that go. Fisker's been on the show before, and nice guy, designer, but, not. I don't think there'll be a round 3 for him. Do you?
Certainly not in the short haul. And then there's Jaguar. We're just not sure what's going to happen there.
I think they wanted to make a big splash in the art world. I don't know if that was the best play, but they did. Their CEO is an art professor. He likes art. I don't know. It's a real early prototype that
it's gotten them a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, what's going on with Jaguar? But that could be the only thing they've got at the moment.
Yes.
Is talk.
Well, that is an early prototype for sure. I mean, I'm sure the idea is release it at an art event where there's not automotive journalists saying, well, this is early on. This is just a real early on model.
I don't know how the death of Ratan Tata affects Jaguar's position, because they're owned by Tata, Indian company.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they have the money.
Well, another brand we saw revealed was Scout, of course, under the Volkswagen umbrella. Interesting looking vehicles. Once again, they put a lot of time and effort into 2 great vehicles, a pickup truck and a crossover. Kind of Rivian-like in some ways, but the question is now that, do people want electric trucks? We're not sure, but they are great-looking vehicles. The interesting thing about Scout, they want to do away with dealers and sell direct.
Yep.
Already the dealers in California are pushing back, saying we're not going to have it.
Well, and they've got a fight on their hands in some states where maybe it's not legal to sell vehicles directly. That's a whole other issue we're not going to cover today.
Yeah, that could be a 2025 issue.
Yeah, we'll have to bring in our attorneys.
Let's just say auto dealers have a lot of power when it comes to lobbying.
A lot of power.
That's putting it nicely. Great looking vehicles from Scout. I look forward to driving them. Certainly really, really nicely styled. We had them on, and I said, do people remember the Scout brand? Because that's way back in my memory banks, and I think, people in their 30s and 40s probably have no idea what it was, right?
That's right. And Before we continue with the ups and downs roller coaster of the industry, I would, Fred, like to shift over because we both have been advocating this for years about Toyota finally changing the name of one of their cars.
Yes, we don't know what it's going to be.
But it just, the car the car they've been building is the BZ4X. BZ4X.
Right.
It's a stupid. We have no idea what it even means. Nobody knows what it means. People are asking us all the time, what is this BZ4X? So they're going to change the name, and any name they come up with
Is
has
better
to
than
be
that.
better than this.
Of course, it's sold as a Subaru as the Solterra, which is better.
Right.
It sounds like
Right.
Saltine, but it is
No,
Solterra.
but it's Solterra. It's fine. Just
Better,
call it
better than the
something.
B. Yeah, yeah. What do you think they'll call it? The
I hope
Plug.
they call it a name.
Yes.
But just come up with something people can pronounce and that doesn't scare people off.
That's memorable.
Yeah. What do you own? I own a BZ4X. You want a what? What is that? A dental plan?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've had cars with letters and numbers, Z28, but that, was an internal ordering number. Basically,
Right.
that's what it sounds like. That's, yeah, the 9C1, which is a police car in Chevrolet,
Yeah.
I don't know. It definitely needs it. But put your prognosticator hat on, since that's a story of 2024. Toyota Camry goes all hybrid. RAV4 will probably go
Yep.
all hybrid. The Crown
hybrid.
series, which replaced the Avalon, I'm going to do an at-the-wheel review of that in a moment. All hybrid. Toyota made the right play. People said, "Oh, you're terrible. You're only doing one electric car. That's terrible." Nope. It looks like they made the right play, doesn't it?
They sure did. Their sales are booming. Hey,
Yeah. And I think they could go all hybrid. Eventually they will. You look at things like the Corolla hybrid that I reviewed, incredible miles to the gallon and not a lot of money. And it would be the ultimate commuter car. Our friends from Consumer Reports were on
Yep.
the ultimate commuter car. It's going to run forever and it will start and it will return like incredible fuel economy. I'm a fan of that. I think that's pretty good. I'd get that over the Prius, actually. I really would, I think.
Yeah. I mean, to make the Prius all hybrid, that was a stroke of brilliance.
Yeah.
They
But
sell a lot of those.
yeah, it's Camrys they sell a lot of, and it's huge. Other big stories, well, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the highlights of them. There's probably plenty more. Corvette ZR1, that's pretty amazing, breaking records.
Big.
The horsepower numbers continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The Charger accepting the Tesla charging standard, that was a big story that everyone's got that standard now. One manufacturer's even sending out adapter cords to older vehicles, electric vehicles. So I think we're gonna see more. Certainly, we know now. This week we learned that Subaru is bringing out their strong hybrid in 2025, very, very soon, to the U.S. in the Forester, which will be their first new strong hybrid version of this. And it's going to have a 2.5-liter boxer engine, 158 horsepower, a little less than the current 2.5 engine. They say it might be because it's running on the Atkinson cycle, right? But They also are going to have an electric motor with it. We're talking probably an 118 horsepower electric motor. And the combined output hasn't been confirmed, but 158 and 118, if it's anywhere around that, it's going to be a very powerful vehicle.
Yep, you're up getting close to 300.
Yes, probably going in Crosstrek, too. Probably going in the Crosstrek, which will be a fast vehicle. And the all-wheel drive system has an actual drive shaft to the rear wheels, unlike the RAV4, which is all electric. Which is electric motors only.
Right.
So I think we're just going to see hybrids expand and continue on in 2025. Probably everyone will have at least, what would you say, 10 hybrid models in their lineup?
I think so. This is certainly the hybrid decade.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk about a hybrid when we come back. We're going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Toyota Crown. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Bum, bum, bum.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson, we're glad you're along for the ride. Let's have an at-the-wheel review of the 2025 Toyota Crown Nightshade Edition. We were just talking a little bit about Toyota going all hybrid, and some of their models going all hybrid. And Crown is all hybrid. Of course, we reviewed the Crown Signia not that long ago, and it was, I thought, one of the best crossovers that I've driven in a while. Because it almost less was like a Lexus, but without the Lexus price.
Which, yes, and we all know Lexus is a super good vehicle. And it's nice. It's nice that a lot of these lower level brands are really tricking them out with some, very high quality, if not elegant, interiors and overall fittings.
Let's look at the Nightshade edition of the Toyota Crown. This is, for all intents and purposes, a four-door, high-riding sedan. By the way, it was 14 degrees out when I shot this. I couldn't even get the ice off the hood. It just wouldn't come off, so it was very uncomfortable shooting this. But Nightshade edition was the new item for 2025. The Crown was introduced in 2024, so they really didn't update it that much. They didn't have to. So black wheels, it's got the storm cloud paint, a dark interior, looking pretty cool. Now, they also sell the Crown Signia, which is the crossover version. This is the Crown, which is more sedan-like, a fastback rear end, high riding, high belt line, all-wheel drive. All of them are all-wheel drive and hybrids. Pretty big vehicle. And the good news is this gets 42 city, 41 highway. And it's a big, big vehicle. You have your choice here on these things. And it is also available in bi-color. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. On the interior, nice seating, perforated seats, heated and cooled. Very comfortable, nice stitching. The overall theme goes with Nightshade is dark. There is a lot of gray and black material, a lot of piano black. The door cards are very black. Not much detail, maybe just a little bit of of stitching on there. You get a huge monitor. What's nice On here, heated and cool seats. You got buttons for a lot of the controls, dedicated buttons. We like that. There's even a little top console up there with some more controls. Overall, dark interior. I would have liked to see a little bit more contrast, just a little contrast stitching. Out back, great rear seat room. Passengers will be very comfy back here. You can fit 3 across. The legroom, I found it to be pretty extensive on this vehicle. So passengers also get some AC outlets and a couple of USB-C chargers at no extra charge. The trunk is interesting. While the opening is kind of small due to the fastback glass, it's still big enough to get your suitcases in. And once you get it in there, there's plenty of room. Pretty nicely finished. You get some remote seat releases, but the pass-through for the seats is a bit small. I guess that's due to the structure of the vehicle. Nice surprise. You do get a spare and a jack back there. Typically, you don't see that in hybrid cars. The rear seats do fold down, but the pass-through is not full size. There's a little bit of cutoff there. 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with the hybrid system. 236 combined system net horsepower, electronic continuously variable drivetrain at eCVT, and electronic on-demand all-wheel drive. Of course, it's a Toyota hybrid. This is the 5th generation hybrid, and it is great. Characterized by that kind of black trim around the grille. There is a little bit of cladding around the wheel wells to say, hey, I'm sort of a crossover. As I said, high belt line, swoops down to a very fast rear piece of glass. Out back, there's these little nubs, little vortex generators probably to help with MPG. And if you get that bicolor model, that black, the back of the vehicle is black and the hood is black. We didn't have that. We had the Nightshade edition. But hats off to Toyota. They are one of the last full-line manufacturers offering the Crown in this sedan or offering it in the Signia, Crown Signia, which is the crossover. So I think that is great. Loaded with safety, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 with pre-collision, blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic alert, front and rear parking assist, automatic braking, smart key system, backup camera with dynamic guidelines, you name it. It's got everything. 12.3-inch Toyota audio multimedia system, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We did get a lot of nags for their connected service, which I believe you get a trial of when you buy this, but it will nag you to use their navigation system. I'm not sure if there's a way to turn that off. But that was a little annoying. Nightshade, a little dark for my taste. I'd rather go with a brighter color on this car. But hey, to each his own. That's the look. Would you get the sedan or the crossover version? There's about the crossover is about $2,000 to $3,000 more on the starting price.
Well, I like the sedan. I mean, I prefer sedans anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coupe-ish looking, which I also like a lot of.
Yes. And the fact that you get 41 miles to the gallon and all-wheel drive, this was the Avalon. The Avalon was a plushy car with reclining rear seats. They've taken that and made it into the Crown. It's crossover-like. In this case, for the sedan, because it is all-wheel drive and high riding, gives you the high seating, but it also is a sedan. So, sort of like the BMW X6, I guess. I don't know what they call it these days, but I thought the fit and finish was great. As I say, the passenger room was great. So, great family vehicle. You have that all-wheel drive capability. You have plenty of room to get in and out. I happen to like the look of the crossover, but it's the same vehicle. It's just basically a different back end on it. The bicolor option is pretty wild on the Crown. You can get it with the whole back end is black. from where that body line is, and the trunk lid, I believe, and the hood are black too. That's pretty wild for Toyota when you think about it. But good trunk room. Really no complaints, and like to see that spare. This vehicle was so new, it still had plastic on it and spots. So I was lucky to drive it. And as I say, the main thing out there is the Nightshade edition is the new thing. But you're probably asking about options and pricing, right?
Well, yes.
Okay, so base is $48,765. We got a side puddle lamp for $165 and carpet mat package $319. Brings it to $49,249. Destination is $1,095, and the total comes up to $50,344, which is a little bit below the average transaction price for a vehicle that gets great mileage and has great reliability and is all-wheel drive. So there you have it. The 2025 Toyota Crown Nightshade Edition. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.